Today's video, we're going to talk about YouTube keyword targeting and why it sucks compared to other targeting options you can do through running YouTube ad campaigns for yourself, namely placement level targeting and also to add to that, audience level targeting, but for the most part, placement level targeting that a lot of people here on YouTube are saying you can't actually do anymore, which is actually not true. You actually can still target individual users by videos that they watch, by channels that they specifically watch videos on and through. I'm going to talk about the details of that here today. Ultimately, this is all about precision. If you want to make money online, running ads for your business, YouTube especially, you got to be able to filter out all the unprofitable eyeballs from your ad campaign. Because for every person who will never buy your product that sees your ads, you're spending money. Okay? Bottom line. If you could target the whole world, you would be able to sell your product. Question is, who's out there that's actually going to buy? And then how can you have your ads only run for them? What a lazy man will do that's trying to advertise online, their business online on YouTube ads is going to target broad because it's easy to do. It doesn't take much thinking, but they're not tracking the results. They lie to themselves that it's working, or they expect it to work right away and it doesn't, and they end up not being successful. The people that really make money understand, at least when you're talking about not selling mass marketed products like an Oreo cookie that everybody eats, and you don't have to have precise level targeting with your ads. You got to understand how to target your actual customer here. And it's YouTube's made it very easy for you to, blow up your budget, target a lot of people really quickly without much knowledge and without much time, but it doesn't mean it makes anybody else money besides Google. So I'm going to go through why the keyword targeting in and itself isn't the right option for 90+% of the advertisers. And that placement targeting is the right answer for 90% of advertisers. So if you're struggling to make money with your YouTube ads already, this will give you plenty of information on how to be successful with your YouTube ads in and itself, when paired with the information about I'll give you some information about how to run the right ad and so forth also with this video. So with that said, keyword targeting on YouTube ads does work in some broader niches. If you're selling a weight loss product where 30% of the population being overweight in the US and, should I say 60%, 30% are actually obese, and everybody who's overweight wants to lose weight. It's one, obviously thing between wanting to lose weight and actually being willing to pay money to do so, which is a way smaller population. But as a whole, 1% or greater of the population buys products to try to lose weight at some point in time, given that they're usually overweight for a long period of time. And that type of a niche market, okay, keyword targeting is fine. The reason for that is it's okay if you're a little bit accidentally too broad, but more than that, the algorithm that Google has that runs that ad system and the placement of ads on YouTube, they understand better what is somebody who's interested in weight loss a hell of a lot better than somebody who wants to buy stained glass window repair, okay? So relatively speaking, counting on Google's ad system to find you a customer when you're doing something super specific like the window repair like I talked about, it's asking too much of the system. You have to get off your butt and do some work to make sure you're showing up in front of the correct people if you're going to expect it to work. That means not getting very many ad impressions or video ad impressions or clicks, but at least the ones you're going to get are going to be able to make sense. And for something like stained glass window repair, for the most part, that's such a specific niche. You're not going to get much. And sorry, YouTube ads is not going to pull in much business for you, and that's just the way that it is. It's not a very big universal problem. However, on the flip side, if you have something that's kind of middle ground, like let's say you buy life insurance policies from people that want to cash out the cash value of their life insurance policies, that's something that 1 in 1,000 people will at some point want to do. And so it's not really mainstream, but it's also not super niche. that's the time where I'm going to make sure, damn sure, that I'm going to advertise on YouTube, and I'm going to get in front of people who are interested in that particular topic, so I can get and extract all the value I can from all the people doing research around that topic on an ongoing basis. And not only that, but because video ads work so well nowadays, very few people that you're competing with understand video ads, how to run video ads profitably. I'm going to target as broad as I can in that situation, such as people who are going to need money and would be willing to sell their life insurance policy to get money on top of that. People with cancer that need to raise cash quickly, that kind of thing, which is in that market, that's the type of thing that we do. So with that said, anything that's in, semi-tight niche, where you're not in a broad-based niche, you're 100% better off with placement targeting, either targeting individual YouTube channels or individual videos on YouTube, which you can literally make a list and say, hey, YouTube, or should I say Google Ads, I want to make sure my video ad runs on this list of 500 videos. Anytime anybody watches any of these 500 videos, I want my ad to show up. If they aren't watching these exact list of 500 videos, I don't want my ad to show up. And if you're doing something like life insurance policy purchasing, like I was saying before, you would be a complete moron to not want your ad to show up for people doing research on this topic while they're on YouTube. There is no better person to get in front of outside of the people actively seeking for a company that buys life insurance policies directly on Google. There is no relevant area to advertise more. That's the second most relevant area, because on YouTube, they're deeply invested in finding an answer. I mean, they're watching these videos for several minutes. How could you have a better prospect to get in front of? Yes, you can advertise on websites, and there's websites where it talks about that type of thing, but it's still not as good as the video ads. One, because they're not going to be reading that article probably for 5 minutes on average. Two, video ads engage all the senses, so you can communicate a lot in a little amount of time. If you're still good at making banner ads, you can get a lot of value out of, saying, immediate cash value for life insurance settlements, for your life insurance policy, industry top payouts, and communicate a lot in a little amount of time on a banner ad. And we also do that. Well, on a YouTube ad, in 30 seconds, you can convey the whole pitch. And therefore, the whole pitch is going to get conveyed a higher percentage of the time to the user than a banner ad that takes people to a web page, which then through text alone communicates to the user, given a lot of people just don't have the attention spans to read a sales letter anymore. You're much better off doing a video. Actually, also video, the other benefit of it is the fact that you don't have to do as much once you get the prospect on the phone, because with text, your goal, because most people won't read very much, is to just get them on the phone so you can explain it and you got their full attention then. Whereas a video, it cuts out part of the work, if you will, of having to talk to that person physically. So anyway, moving forward here, the problem with targeting individual videos, basically bottom line, is that it takes a long time to set up. Nobody wants to get off their butt to do any actual work when it comes to setting up their ads. Google makes it seem easy, they want to believe it's easy, and then they get pissed off that there's no results. Go out there and find 500 individual videos that you've hand-selected, that you damn well know if a person's watching this video, they're at least 1% likely to become a customer of the type of product or service you sell, and just target it and see what happens. I promise you'll be happy with the result. If they don't actually buy directly after watching that video ad that you have and clicking through, which most of the time they're not if you're selling something more than $100, because they have to think about it for a while, you're going to see results right away. And with that, that's the other reason why people think YouTube ads don't work, which I love it, because that means all the customers are mine in most niches. People they don't think about it correctly. Just like a TV ad, when's the last time you watched a TV ad and went out and instantly bought something? It doesn't happen. You see the ad, you internalize the information, and then when you're ready to buy, they remember you, so you seem like the branded option. You're going to get the business, 3 to 5 times the rate as the other guy, because you got in with them before they went ahead and made the purchase. You'll get some click through your ad and get people to buy right away. But that's not the main value here. It's about the branding with the person who's likely to be buying in the future, realistically speaking. So So, and then, naturally with that, if you're wondering, well, how the hell do you even know it works? Well, that's really simple. You start doing this video ad marketing. You get in front of every person who's likely to be a customer in the future. You watch how your sales change versus before you did it. And you look at, and if you want to be more specific and more accurate about it, just run your video ads to half the country. Or let's say just one country itself. If you target already more than one country in terms of your business, your normal who you sell to, and see how the sales go up, quarter over quarter in that state or that country or whatnot that you're running those video ads versus the ones that you're not, and then you'll become a believer. So do the work, handpick the videos if you're not successful with your ads already. Hey, if you haven't tried the ads and you don't want to believe me, go ahead and run your ads broad. See what happens. If it doesn't work, come back, use this method. Yes, you're not going to be able to spend money as freely and easily with your campaigns, but at least it's going to be profitable. And then my whole, mantra is, and I try to communicate this on this channel all the time, start with the stuff that's most likely to work for you and then start reinvesting the cash you make on the low-hanging fruit, if you will, in your industry that's in terms of advertising opportunities, and then go after stuff that's a little bit more broad, you're guaranteed not to lose then. At some point you'll tap out, but you've got everything that's available to get in your space. You're probably making millions of dollars a year versus what everybody else basically tries to do is they try to go for millions right away and then they just fail because their ads are just running too broad. So keyword targeting works great for anything where like 1% of the population or greater could buy that product or service. A diet product, a cosmetic product, that kind of thing. If you are, by the way, in a market where 1% of the market or greater could buy your product or service, keyword targeting actually is the better option, typically speaking. There's never like a completely right or wrong, rule that universally applies in anything for the most part when it comes to online marketing. There's stuff that's 99% of the time true. But if you're using keyword targeting, you combine the keyword targeting with smart bidding. That is, you want to target people through maximize conversions or maximize conversion value type of bidding strategy. And do sales tracking in combination with that smart bidding strategy. That is, if you're trying to generate leads, you're going to track whether those leads are at least qualified or not, and then use that to have the smart bidding that you're using to steer the campaign with. Because a lead, a lot of times if you're running YouTube ads, because of all the bots and everything, your campaign won't be steered, it'll be steered completely in the wrong direction when bot leads come in at cheaper than the real leads, and therefore you're not going to get what you want. So then again, this is where they blame Google as being the scam, when really, if they would have just set up the conversion tracking correctly, the campaign would have delivered what it was supposed to deliver. So, and if you're doing e-commerce, obviously it's easy. You track your revenue, you run your ads, you do keyword level targeting. Google's going to figure out through the keyword targeting which keywords and which videos that they think are paired with each keywords. That they should run the ads in front of. The ones that work, they'll keep doing. The ones that don't, they won't keep doing. And then you'll naturally keep getting more results over time. Most people also, by the way, when they run online ads in general, they want that one ad that's going to make them a millionaire. And it just basically generally doesn't happen unless you have something that's got super high demand with super low competition. If you didn't invent the number one, energy saving device that's going to change the world, then just don't expect that. You run a campaign with keyword targeting with those three things connected together, you can get 10% more sales a month, which if you factor that over the next 7 years, you are going to become a millionaire, guaranteed, because that's how the numbers compound over time. But when people think, oh, I only got a 10% change in a month, it's not working. It is working. And if anything was that easy, your competition would have already been doing it already. So just be the one that wins because your competition's not patient enough to set it up the right way and then wait for the actual results to come in. Because with machine learning and the systems that Google has that is run off of machine learning, they have to see what works and what doesn't work. And yes, if you have a metric ton of money to throw at it for them to learn really fast, you can actually get results fast. But usually most people can't throw 100 grand worth of ad spend at it before it's profitable to get results really quickly and scale quickly. So what you do is you get the results, and then the 10% of monthly growth comes from the 10% of testing that Google does on an ongoing basis to find out 1% of the 10% that works, if you will. And then the 1% they scale up and so on and so forth. And therefore, basically they're taking your winnings and using it to find new video placements that your ad should really show up on and then scale those. And that process takes time unless you have a ton of money to throw at it, like I said. And for the most part, you don't. You have to finance your growth with the profit that you're making from the growth, the ads that you have already, like everybody else. And that's more of a realistic amount that you can scale your profitability from your ads every month. But if you set up the system right, like I mentioned, you should get more and more results all the time. Keyword targeting wise, because it's so, it's not very refined in how it works. There's not a lot of benefit in targeting 500 different keywords that all kind of, revolve around the same thing, because each keyword, there'll be a lot of overlap there. So what you normally would do in that situation is go target 10 or 20 keywords, and then you're just going to let the system do the work. Let the system figure out where the customers are at. Google's going to be able to mostly figure it out on its own using all the data that they have. Not just about the people, what the videos mean that you're going to show up on, but like what the person's done in the past. What searches they've made in the past. What have they been to other competing or one of your competitors' websites in the past to try to figure out how to find you a customer. So, and in that case, there's more power in all the data that Google has about their users than, being able to target an individual video. Whereas if you're in a smaller niche, like where you're trying to buy life insurance policies from people, then in that situation, there isn't as much power about what people have done in the past. There's more power in knowing what video you show up on, given Google knows less about people when you're talking about super niche topics. Because naturally, in something like that, they usually do very little research as compared to, like, if you're in the diet space, they've probably done a whole bunch of research in the past about diet. Whereas a life insurance settlement, they might have watched one video and read one article. Google just knows less about that, that type of user in general, and like who's serious and who's not. So you're leveraging in the keyword targeting instance more of the back history of all their users about what types of things they're interested in, therefore likely to buy, versus in the other situation, you're doing the groundwork to say, here, I want rails around this campaign. I want to make sure that if my ad shows up for somebody, it's somebody that I guaranteed know is interested in the topic at hand. Now that said, you use individual placement targeting. Yes, you're going to limit your capability of having a campaign that spends, but at least it's going to start out profitable. And once you've got all the value you can out of those placement targets, what you can do in addition to that is you can do some keyword targeting. In that situation, I'll run a secondary campaign. If my initial campaign's making money and it's spending $30 a day, I'm going to put a campaign that spends $3 to, let's say $5 a day with keyword targeting. No, it's not going to work for 6 months because Google's going to have to do some serious testing on their end, but eventually they'll figure out what to do. So the difference between a broad niche and a semi-broad niche or not broad niche is in a broad niche, Google knows a lot about their users and the people, what they want and their likes and their dislikes, and they'll be able to get you results quicker because they have a lot of history about that user. Whereas in smaller niches, they know very little about the users, and it'll therefore take longer for them to find you a profit when you start out going broad with those campaigns right away, i.e. keyword targeting versus placement targeting that I've suggested you use if you're not in a mainstream niche itself to start out with. So, but with that said, that spells out why YouTube keyword targeting sucks, for 90% of advertisers. And when you're in the other 10%, what you should actually do. And even if you are using placement targeting, how you keep ever increasing what you can make off your video ads once you actually exploited the stuff that's basically surely guaranteed to work for you if you actually know how to measure it through what they call conversion lift testing, where you do half the country with your video ads, half of it where you don't, and keep your profits growing. I did not talk about anything to do with, video targeting where you can target your competitors' channels, or if they've made a search for people that are looking to buy a product or service like yours on Google recently, which that's a very important thing that you need to do to scale up, when you're going to try to scale a video campaign up for yourself, as is people who have been to one of your competitors' websites or searched for one of your competitors on Google recently. Those are all very good things you can do. That is also videos that review your competitor's product or service that are not on their channel but on other channels. These are all things I commonly do in order to scale up a YouTube ad campaign for a business that we either control or are working for directly at our ad agency. So, and then with that, the video ads are also pretty straightforward. You always are going to start with stating what the problem is to the user. Do you have athlete's foot? If so, this is there's a new product out there that's changing everything, and here's why, blah, 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 blah. It's pretty straightforward with YouTube ads to get the results that you want. There's a video I have about YouTube ad scripting that you should watch. A script that basically works every time on YouTube. You should go to my channel homepage, search for that video. You can actually see what I'm talking about there. The other type of ad is what looks like an independent review of your product or service on video, and that's the ad. So the user sees the ad, they think they're seeing an independent review, which is called user-generated content ads, and that's the other main approach there that works. So realistically, those are the type of ads that work. You can usually also get even better results instead of just targeting people that are watching individual videos, where you can get results also better targeting people who are current customers and then people who have been to your site before. And once you've done all that, you can go after new prospects. And when you go after new prospects, those individual videos that you're targeting in 90% of niches is going to be where your money is. From there, you can start to go after stuff that Google's going to have to heavily test with their algorithm, but can still get you money if you give it long enough to work. And it's all just winnings that you're testing with there. So with that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. Hopefully that made a lot of sense. If you have any questions about anything I covered here, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within an hour, within a day's time. You can ask me any ad-related question you'd like. I'll use my 15 years of experience to try to put you on the right track with what you're doing, just as a thank you for helping watching and tuning in the channel and helping the channel grow. With that said, this is the channel, I promise you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, the channel you want to subscribe to if you're serious about making millions of dollars a year running ad campaigns for your business. Why is that? Because 99% of the content you're going to find on YouTube and on the web is by people who sell courses. They aren't actually running ad campaigns. They pretend like they do. They don't. Or they run an ad agency. They also don't run ad campaigns themselves. They don't know what's going on. And it's all just a fugazi. It's people giving you second, third-hand information. I manage, strategize ad accounts 40 hours a week on dozens of ad accounts to give you the information on this channel about what works and what doesn't work. And when I say strategize, I'm literally just doing the strategy end of things, because we've got a whole execution team that helps execute the strategies that I prescribe on different client accounts here at our ad agency. Therefore, this is the most real information you're going to find. So if you're serious about making money, running online ads for your business, you want to subscribe, and you want to subscribe right now already. Furthermore, I also have a blog that I keep up at guaranteedppc.com/blog with actual step-by-step advice on different strategies that work to generate results with examples, with screenshots. If you like the channel, you're going to love my blog as well, even more. So you should check that out as well. As mentioned, I run an ad agency here. The name of it's, of course, Guaranteed PPC. And with our ad agency, we are different than all of the other ad agencies out there, still to this day, that I don't know of anybody else that does any kind of contingency ad service. That is, until we bring a client more profit on their campaigns than what they had before by a certain minimum amount, there is no fee that our agency charges. And that profit we make is going to be more than what the fee we charge in the first place. So we're literally being paid out of your winnings, if you will. The catch is that we got to know we can get great results with your campaigns up front before we start on and agree to work with you in your company at all. But if you want to see if we can work together, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to give you a free analysis to look at and see what the possibilities, what could be, and what the estimates are on the results we could get for you. If you're not looking to work with an ad agency like mine to just do everything that you need to get results on your campaigns for a fee, with that said, we also sell campaign templates. That is, if you are in a niche that we've worked in, and we worked in over 100 niches in the last 10 years running guaranteed PPC, you can use all the same ads, landing pages, campaign templates, everything we figured out that works in your niche already to copy and paste the results we're getting into your own ad accounts. As long as you're in a different geographic area as our current or past client, it's all fair game to use the same templates that we found to get the rock bottom lead cost or super high ROI in your market already. We got people using these templates to start other businesses, whether that be e-commerce businesses to sell commodity products that you could easily sell in your country that our client isn't ever going to sell in your country, that you could have a business on training wheels to start out with ads that work to sell those products profitably, or to start a lead generation business where you can generate leads at a super low cost and sell leads to people in that niche area, which is a great passive income business idea if there ever is one. I got several people that have done that with our templates already alone. But if you're interested in our templates that we have already, that are basically turnkey results in a number of different industries, you can check us out at guaranteedppc.com. We'll let you know what niches we've worked in and what results we have in those niches per se that you might be interested in getting a template for. But with that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.